Ariana Griffin, Ms. Gillis, go ahead.
Jane Gillis on behalf of the people.
Mr.
And
Hordos.
Good morning, Your Honor. From Neighborhood Defender Service of Detroit, Jonathan Hortis, P78948 on behalf of Ms. Griffin. Ms. Griffin, can you please state your name?
My name is Ariana Griffin.
And Judge, we consent to proceeding via Zoom for today's purposes.
Okay. This matter was set for PCC today. Mr. Hortus, you've had an opportunity to have a breakout with Ms. Griffin.
I have, Judge. Thank you for that.
And I know that this case has, as indicated, before we're on the record, apparently some voluminous discovery.
That's correct. I've received about 247 pages of paper discovery on this case, and I've been doing my best to get through them. Obviously, not 100%, but making progress where I can. The discovery materials make reference to more discovery materials. Ms. Gillis has indicated there's videos in her file that have to be turned over still. And then the paper discovery also makes reference to various forensic reports, including fingerprints and DNA that were submitted to for analysis, but there's no returns on the paper discovery, so I don't know what the result of those lab reports was. So I'm hoping to get those at some point in the future. I'm sure Ms. Gillis.
Ms. Gillis?
Yep, working on it. Are you gonna set this for live, or are you gonna set this for another PCC, or?
So, Judge, I would be inclined to set this for an in-person exam. I want to make sure it gets scheduled.
Well, we're not setting anything, so there is no concern about that. And until you have all the discovery, I'd rather adjourn it. And actually, if we adjourn it and let's say that I adjourn it out to the middle of January or whatever it is, and you're ready to set it then, if we're setting cases, it will be set right then. You know what I'm saying? Because it won't go into a pile. Once we start setting, the cases that are PCCs are going to be set immediately, and the pile is going to be worked through to have them set out. So
Understood, Judge. Then we'll take the first
in a
available
lot
date.
of scenarios, being in an adjourned PCC is a better situation than being in the stack.
Understood, Judge. In that case, we'll take the first available date. Obviously, we want to minimize Ms. Griffin's time in custody.
It's I would suggest just give me a Wednesday in January. It's up to you.
I think I'm already coming back. I believe we set one of the other cases for the 20th.
Okay. Then I'll do it. Heather, does it matter what time? $11 a.m. Yeah, she's in custody.
And I'm hoping to address that issue too, Judge, if we could address bond when court's ready.
Yep, go ahead.
So Ms. Griffin is currently being held on a $100,000 cash bond, is my understanding. Is the court showing the same thing?
That's correct.
So obviously the charges here are serious. So there's no getting around that. You look at this, it's a life offense. You know, there's multiple life offenses on here. However, I think it's important to draw attention to the date of the offense, which is back in March of 2018. So we've had quite a bit of time that's elapsed here. The court will also note that the information in this case shows an Ariana Brooks. It's not even named for my client. Obviously, we've seen cases that have aliases before, but there's not even an alias listed on this information. And the reason I even draw attention to that, Judge, is because in my initial scan of the discovery, I noticed that the complaining witness, Martell Johnson, had done a photo lineup of my client. Basically, there was a six-pack presented to him, and one of those photographs was of this Ariana Brooks that's named in the information. And he could not identify her in that six-pack lineup. Again, I don't have that six-pack lineup in front of me, so I can't tell you whether or not that was actually my client, but considering that the named person is Ariana Brooks, and that's stated that that's the person that was shown to him, I think that impacts the quality of the case. I did notice elsewhere in the discovery that there's references to some hearsay information from witnesses who say that another person knew who Ariana Brooks was, but when the police went to interview that person, he denied recognizing any photographs of Miss Brooks, or the Facebook photographs that were presented to him of this Ariana Brooks or Ari Brooks that's referenced. So it seems like we're going to have an identification issue here in this case. And I'm not seeing so far any other information that strongly ties my client to this crime. So just as far as the likelihood of conviction that the court has to analyze when setting a bond, I think that's important to keep in mind. The other things I think the court should know is that my client does have her mother that lives in the area, and she does have a 1-year-old son. And I've spoken to her mom last week when we were still trying to determine where Miss Griffin was in the system. And the mother is taking care of her child right now, but obviously it's a tense situation, a mother being separated from the child. My client has no prior criminal history that I'm aware of. She's not been convicted of a crime. She lost her job, unfortunately, as a result of this arrest. And she is trying to line something up with a factory through her mom's boyfriend, but obviously she's got to be released for that to be facilitated. I think considering the COVID pandemic, the delays that are going to inherently be present in this case, and some of the weaknesses that I've already identified based on just my preliminary review of the discovery, I think that the $100,000 cash bond is too high. Again, I acknowledge 100% that the crime on its face is serious and the allegations are as serious as they come. But when you look at the totality of the circumstances, when you go through each one of those steps that's laid out by 6.106 for bond considerations and pretrial considerations, I think that my client, a lot of those break in the favor of Miss Griffin. And I think that she should have a bond that she can actually afford to post. Because the effect of having a $100,000 cash bond right now is to remand her. And I don't think that she would meet the criteria for a remand. Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Gillis?
I will say this on behalf of the people. There is indication in the file of some other types of evidence and fingerprint evidence, so that which I don't have the results on, which could be very well why they charged her. I'm still confused as to why it says Brooks on her file, but she's really named Green. I mean, but at any
Griffin.
rate, she doesn't have a
Not
prior
Green.
record.
I know that. Regardless, you know what? I'm going to stop you. I don't have any of this discovery. I don't know anything about it. I'm going to send it to pretrial services and ask them to do a recommendation.
Okay.
Judge, in that case, could we come back sooner for the results of that pretrial services report? Again, I want to minimize the amount of time that my client's in jail and away from her child.
I don't know with the status of the holidays and stuff that they're going to get to it any sooner. I mean, I can do it. I can make it sooner if you want me to, but
I guess if we could get the report provided as soon as it's available, and then if it's early enough, like
okay.
then we can schedule something sooner if that's
Okay.
appropriate.
Okay. I have.
All right, then I'm going to leave it on the 20th. If we get the report before, then we'll put in a call and do it before. All right.
I have one other suggestion. This case was a Detective Hussein Farhat out of Romulus. I don't know if he's still there or not, but I'm suggesting that you also get a discovery order, Mr. Hordos, to get some video. It's hard. I went in the file. There is a stack of videos, which all say prosecutor's copy. They're supposed to send, used to be when we had videos, they're supposed to send us a copy and you, there's none of them that say defense copy. Otherwise I was going to just meet you somewhere. But I mean, there's like 10. Can I see? Oh, there, you can see the stack.
I'm looking forward
In addition
to
to your
reviewing them.
250 pages of discovery, you got a lot of movie watching. Get some popcorn.
Understood. Judge, would the court sign a discovery order if I were to
Yes.
provide it?
Yes.
So I'll try to
And
limit
just send it to Heather.
Okay, and can Miss Mortsfield put her email in the chat just so I
Yeah,
make sure I
will
have
you
it?
send him your email, Heather? Yep, she's sending it to you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, is that all?
I think so. Miss Griffin will be back on January 20th, if not sooner, for that bond review.
Okay. All right, thank